Okay, call the meeting to order. A silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the
and to the
republic
and to the
republic
republic for which it
that
stands,
stands
under
one nation
under
under God, indivisible,
with liberty and
with
justice
justice
for
for
all.
all.
And after our inauguration today is no more apparent than it is ever. You know, the inauguration was just the exchange of power. It just shows what our country is truly based on. So I have enjoyed watching the inauguration all day today.
Mhm.
Anyway, just a little housekeeping note today. Anyone that wish to speak, please raise your hand and you will be acknowledged. I don't want people shouting out because it gets a little confusing, and I will try to be in an orderly fashion to make sure that I see the first person with the hand up, and then I will acknowledge you. But for recording purposes and just the order of the meeting, I can't have people shouting out. So I'm asking you as council members to raise your hand when you want to be acknowledged, and I will acknowledge you, and we'll go forward from there. Okay? Roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Okay, and to because we have a Open Meetings Act amendment, when I call your name, you need to say present. And if you could then say, and appearing electronically from, and then state where you are located, Harper Woods or otherwise, please.
All
Mayor-
right, we have some new rules today. All right,
Mayor Kindle,
present.
appearing electronic,
Appearing electronically from City Hall of Harper Woods.
okay. Mayor Pro Tem Costantino. Is she here?
Present and appearing electronically from the city of Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Present, appearing electronically from the city of Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Pies,
Present and appearing electronically from Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Present and appearing electronically from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Williams,
You're muted.
Present, appearing electronically from Harper Woods.
and Councilman Toussaint,
Present and appearing electronically from my home in Harper Woods.
Acting City Manager Szymanski,
Present and appearing electronically from Harper Woods.
and City Attorney Diwali. You're muted.
Present, and only the governing body has to say where they're appearing pursuant to the
Very good. Good.
amendment. So John, thank you. We all appreciate that, but it's the governing body.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, I need a motion for the approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting held on January 4th, 2021. Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes, I will offer the approval of the minutes from our regular city council meeting, that is to receive, approve, and file the regular council meeting of January 4th, 2021.
and
Support.
did I see a second?
Support.
Support, Councilwoman Williams?
I had my hand up.
Oh, okay, Councilman Toussaint,
Yes.
is any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
Would you like me to assist in recognizing council members to assist you tonight?
I would appreciate that very much because I don't have the full screen in front of me, but I'm
will-
trying to catch everybody.
I will
Okay.
do my best to assist then.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Madam
Okay,
Mayor,
yes,
point of information, when you say raise your hand, do you mean the electronic hand that's provided with Zoom, or do you mean our actual physical hand like this?
if you do the physical hand, it would be fine.
Okay.
I can recognize either one.
Right, okay, thank you, Bob. Public comments on the agenda items. Is there anyone that would like to comment on the agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I need a resolution.
Madam Mayor?
Ms. Sawicki?
Okay, Mr. Wiki and Councilwoman Sawicki and Councilwoman Pies.
All right, I'll let Councilwoman Pies go. She verbalized her interest.
I'll offer the resolution to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 6.
Support.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes, and appearing electronically from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Kindle.
Yes,
Okay, resolution passes.
thank you. Since there's no old business, we will move on to new business and city manager's report.
Okay, Madam Mayor and City Council, attached is a memorandum from the CDBG Program Manager requesting that the attached Urban County Cooperative Agreement be approved in order to continue with the Community Development Block Grant Program. As his memo states, in order to continue with this program, the city needs to affirm our participation prior to receiving the funds. The program funds would be provided to the Point Area Assisted Transportation Services, PATS, and the Helm as they have been in the past.
Okay, I need a resolution. Councilwoman
Madam Mayor?
Lyons and Councilwoman Sawicki.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make the resolution to approve the Urban County Cooperative Agreement for the Federal Community Development Block Grant Program for a term of July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2024, and to further authorize the acting city manager to sign the agreement.
Support.
Any further discussion? Councilwoman Williams. You need to unmute yourself.
I know, I've been having some problems with my mute button. Okay, yes, I did have a question because when I read over the agreement, I saw that the renewal was for 2021 to 2024, and it expired in 2020, November 2020. So for this time period between November 2020 and 2021, was there another agreement, or what are we going on for that time period? For this year, you know?
Ty, would you like to comment on that? You're mute.
You're on mute, Mr. Hinton.
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay.
All right. That period is in discussion between HUD and the county. And they're just trying to get it renewed going forward. That's the best answer I have.
So are we covered for November 2020 up to July 2021?
As far as I know, we are. I was never told anything any different.
Okay, because I didn't see the dates on the new contract. That's why I wondered. It was that span was missing.
As far as I know, we were covered, and but they're trying to make sure that we're covered going forward. Because they already have funding for that period.
Councilman
Madam Mayor?
Tucson.
I'm a little new
Back
at
to you,
this one.
Councilwoman Swicky.
Yes,
I'm a little bit new.
I just want to ask,
Mr. Tucson, this is before you, please.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. I just wanted to ask, I haven't been around in this that long. And can you just kind of summarize to me a little bit? I read it, but why this is such a good one?
I'm sorry, why this is?
It's such a good thing we're going to renew. I know it works with home consortium, except through county regardless of, I'm just kind of curious why this is such a good agreement. Or what has it done for it? How has it benefited us very well? How has it benefited us? Just a little summary.
Well, it's in a very straightforward way. It just enables us to continue to get funding from HUD. And quite frankly, I think they were a little behind. There was some kind of dispute as to why it had not already been executed. So this was a last minute thing, to be very candid, and is an agreement that we've signed over and over again.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Swicky.
I want to also help Councilman Toussaint to know that the funds for the PATS program helps our residents to get transportation at greatly reduced prices using the PATS buses that transport residents in our area. Also, the HELM offers programs for senior citizens that our residents can take advantage of. And so both of those programs are excellent, and a grant is free money. So that's always nice. I also wanted to kind of follow up on what Councilwoman Williams said and ask Ty if it makes sense for us to mention, or at least in our action, to agree to any program from November of 2021 through June of 2024. In other words, to make certain that we are covered for all of that time, as Councilwoman Williams was concerned. It would obviously cover us from July 1st going forward, but this way it could be retroactive to November when she noticed that the contract, the end date of that previous contract. So I'm just suggesting that we might allow our resolution to cover the entire time period retroactively, should that become an issue. That's all.
But my response is that, may I respond?
Yes, of course.
Okay. My response is that that would be prudent. And then we can attach the resolution to the contract when we return it.
Okay. So,
Then Madam Mayor,
yes, Councilwoman Swicky.
we will need to have the resolution amended by, I believe it was Councilwoman Lyons who put it forth. So if she could amend it just to include the new dates, November of 2020 through June of 2024.
Okay. Councilwoman Lyons, would you like to make a friendly amendment to the resolution?
I'll make the amendment to approve the Urban County Cooperative Agreement for the Federal Community Development Block Grant Program for a term of, was it November 20th, 2020?
Yes.
Yes.
November 20th, 2020 to June 30th, 2024, and to further authorize the acting city manager to sign the agreement.
Okay, support.
Okay, support. Is there any further discussion?
Ms. Pies has her hand up.
Councilwoman Pies, thank you.
Hi, I was wondering if Mr. Hinton could explain something for me. I didn't quite understand the inclusion of the home investment partnerships. I didn't quite understand that. I was wondering if you could explain that, please.
Well, the home investment partnership are another set of funds that come from the federal government through the local participating jurisdiction, Wayne County. And it actually was born in 1991 because they needed something that would be specifically for housing. So that is a pool of money that if we had a project, we could also go after.
So then do I understand correctly then that the CDBG funds currently will not be applied to the same program that we've had for the past few years where we help residents improve their homes?
No, that it will continue as stated in the agreement to cover the Helm and to cover PASS.
Right.
But the home funds are additional funds that we could apply for if we had a project.
Okay,
And-
so that's what I
Right.
wasn't clear on then, because I don't
Right.
see that in here in this letter and resolution. But you're saying that's something the funds still exist at the county level and we could still apply for those, but those are separate than this current thing.
Right.
And then the home investment partnerships is a third similar thing then.
Right, the second amount of funding. Just to explain a little bit further, they created the home program because CDBG could be applied to all kinds of uses, infrastructure, housing, everything. But specifically, if you get home money, you have to account for that money. It has to ultimately be allotted to an address, an apartment number, or something that a project was completed. So that's the principal difference between the two.
Thank you.
Are there any further discussion?
Yes, question.
Yes, Councilman
I
Tucson?
understand too that some of this funding goes to the assisted transportation services and as well as to the Helm Life Center.
Yes, that's
Yes.
we get 20,000 a year, and there's a tacit agreement between the 5 Groves Point communities and Hopper Woods that we would support PASS and the Helm with our 20 that we
Right.
get.
You know, because Helm is starting to charge us now to be members.
I have a comment on as far as on the PATS. I just got out of a meeting and we had a discussion where fares may be eliminated until May. That's not something that's concrete in stone, but it's something that we feel can be afforded. You know, at this time, due to the COVID money that's coming in there, and you know, that would be a big boon to the residents, especially in our community. I'm just throwing it in there as a sideline that we are getting some additional perks out of this too.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, can I have a roll call vote? Mrs. Franks? Where'd Leslie go?
Leslie.
Yes, I'm frozen.
Leslie's computer is frozen right now, so we're just gonna take a slight pause. And she's gonna move to another computer.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay.
Okay, item G2, modification of employment agreements, wages. Madam Mayor and City Council, I am requesting a modification to the employment agreements of the Director of Public Safety and myself. Additionally, I request paying performance bonuses to the following department directors: the DPW Superintendent, the Recreation Director, and the Director of Economic and Community Development for outstanding service above and beyond the call of duty. The Director of Public Safety position in virtually all Michigan communities is paid between 8 to 10% above that of a Deputy Chief's base pay. Currently, our Deputy Chief's base pay salary is $92,746. An 8% increase added to the Deputy Chief's base pay would bring that total to $100,165. I am requesting this amount to be the annual salary of the Director of Public Safety, effective immediately. I am also requesting language be added for benefits already received by the Director of Public Safety for items such as education bonus and longevity. In addition, I am requesting an increase for myself to be paid $1 greater than the Director of Public Safety, and benefits already received be included in the memorandum of understanding.
Finally, I'm requesting certain.
Okay, and that's
Oh, okay.
resolution. Yeah.
All right.
Ms. Constantino has her hand up.
Councilwoman Constantino,
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you now for real.
Okay, good. I'm wondering if maybe we should separate each of these positions, doing a sweep of approving all of this at once. I don't know that that's a good idea. I feel like we're just trying to, pass things by people. While I do feel like everybody on here does deserve some more money, there might be some discussion on one or the other that might be a little bit different. So I'll, right now, for now, I'll offer a resolution to approve the employment agreement modifications with the recommended wage adjustments for the Public Safety Director. And then we could do the others later if someone wants to support that.
Support.
Okay. So in essence, you are doing each one individually.
Yes.
Is that the way the resolution is written?
No.
No, it's not.
But it's been motioned and supported, so it's already out there.
Okay. So then if you make an adjustment to the resolution as set forward, so then we're going to do these individually. Let's see what your resolution says.
Madam Mayor, point of order.
Point of order? Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes, from what I understand right now, we have a resolution on the table that just offers the employment agreement modification for the Public Safety Director, and that's been seconded, so that would be what we're voting on. If we want to go back to the recommended resolution, then we would have to vote against the current resolution and then
Right.
offer the recommended resolution. So just to let council members know that that's an option.
Okay,
That's
so
also an
that's what I'm
option to
trying to
do
get a clear understanding. So Councilwoman Constantino has asked to do this differently than what we set it up in the resolution. We're going to do this individually, or we're going to, if we change the resolution, then we have to go back and change it and add it to the agenda.
Oh,
So if we, Mrs. Franks, can you help me out here and tell me exactly how we should do this, if we should do it this way?
So my suggestion is that if that particular motion is on the table, it can be voted on with just one individual. I don't think that the previous resolution has to be acted on at all, because Cheryl has completely amended what it says, which is fine. It was motioned for and supported. Then I believe what you could do after that is then make or offer a resolution to then adjust the next person's wage, and when that is supported, then you can vote on that. I don't think it has to be added to the agenda because it is technically already there.
Okay. I just don't understand. Okay, all right then, if that's the will of the council, is there anyone else with any further discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki?
I don't know that there would be, well, I don't personally believe that there's enough to discuss concerning these separate individuals. I mean, we're talking about public safety director, we're talking about the acting city manager and finance director, and then we're talking about separate performance bonuses. Now, I guess I just don't see the benefit of doing this separately unless there is, discussion about displeasure, or, I guess I'm not certain that we need to do that. And so I'd like to hear some argument for or against doing it separately.
Councilwoman Williams?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I heard the motion, which was made by Councilwoman Constantino, and I heard the support, which I believe was by Councilwoman Lyons. So there's a motion on the floor. I never heard us finish voting on that particular motion. And then the discussion.
Okay. Councilwoman Constantino?
Yes, I was just, in the interest of transparency, I was just gonna quickly go over what it is that the modification has more for the people than for us. So just to give it shortly, the salary for the chief would be increased from $96,554, an 8% increase to $100,165. And my understanding is this is a pretty average wage, if not even still on the low end for a chief.
Right.
Okay. So longevity. So in December, Chief Smith would, or Director Smith, but we call him Chief Smith, he would get a 5% longevity award in December. Okay. So then professional development, he would get $500 to pursue seminars, courses, workshops, or other training useful for his professional development. That's also pretty standard. And then for severance, he would get 1 month's salary exclusive of fringe benefits for each year of service to the city of Harper Woods for a maximum of 5 months salary. So his severance pay would be 5 months salary. And that's really, those are really the only changes that we have in the modifications. And these are all pretty standard.
Right. So are we voting on this portion right now? Are there any
Yeah,
further
yeah,
discussion?
well, my point is that.
I have a
like,
question.
Well, I'm
Just
not
a
done,
moment,
if you wouldn't mind
Councilwoman-
just letting me finish real
Councilman.
quickly. We're combining bonuses with contract agreements and things, and multiple contract agreements. We've never just lumped a bunch of stuff together from different departments before. And it's just seems like we're trying to like shove stuff under the rug when we do that. Just in the interest of transparency, just noting each contract as it is so that it is very clear to our residents, so nobody's shocked by anything. And what we're doing, we're not really doing anything shady as far as the contract goes. We're just clarifying each contract individually, and then we can probably do all the bonuses together. That would be okay. That would be
Okay.
appropriate. But the contracts, we're not going to do. It's not a good idea to lump a bunch of contracts in for different departments.
Okay, all right. Councilwoman Lyons, you had your hand up.
Well, I wanted to support this resolution because to me, it seemed that we were lumping in, the chief salary increase with Mr. Szymanski's salary increase. And then there was mention of, increases or wage changes for Mr. Bobak, Snyder, and Hinton, which I'm all in agreement for. I believe they work very hard and they have done an exemplary job over the years. But I wanted to know a little bit more in the details for the last three, whereas there's details that are provided for, for Mr. Szymanski and for our chief, but then I don't see a lot of details on the same information for the others. And I do think that, maybe having this separated into two separate resolutions to approve would just make more sense to me.
Okay. Councilman Toussaint.
From what I've gathered, and I'm trying to get a little clarity myself, for the public safety, we're looking like about $7,419 raise. And then there's also another $5,000 for longevity. Is that correct? For a total of 7,400 plus 5,000?
The longevity wouldn't be until December. The longevity is not included immediately. It would be at the end of the year.
So basically we're talking about basically just giving him a $7,419 raise. And we're talking about giving John Szymanski like a $16,872 raise from my calculations.
Okay. Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes, I'm going to ask Mr. Mansky to comment on, I guess, the financial situation of the city that would allow us to have this money going forward. I totally support, giving this money to employees that certainly have earned it and certainly are putting out a great and important effort for the community. I just want to make certain that financially we're going to be solid as far as this increase is concerned.
Yes, we, in answer to your concerns, we are going to be solid. We're in a solid financial position, even in 2020. So far, I have been working with these team members to, I want to say, find money in the junk drawers of the city. We've been saving money everywhere that we can. And I wanted to say that originally when I took this job, it was for 45 days. It has turned into a year, and there's no end in sight from what I'm hearing. I am doing the job. I have lost friendships that have been cultivated over 25 years by holding this job. I have been personally sued because of holding this job I have been working with the chief, with the mayor, with the staff. I want to say 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I am on call. And next year, which I should say is this year, 2021, we have a big list of ambitious agenda items, most prominent being Eastland. Eastland is not talk. Eastland is going to happen. Eastland is going to happen. That is going to be a major, major development in this community, and we don't want any interruptions in regards to that. We're also going to be paving Beaconsfield from Kingsville to Woodland. We're going to put up basketball courts, not only in Johnson Park, but Salter Park. We're going to be paving the NEDC building. We're going to be getting the committee for the director of public safety together. We're putting YouTube, city council meetings on YouTube. We're working with the Popard Housing Development. We have put in a brand new roof, a brand new boiler on City Hall on time and under budget. We're going to be doing windows in the springtime. Tim Hortons is going to be restored this year. Very beautiful renderings of the new Tim Hortons coming soon. We're going to finish the water meters in the city. Out of 5,700, we only have 977 to go. We're going to finish the Hawk signal on Kelly Road. There's going to be water fountains at both parks, and we're going to have speed bumps by the schools on Woodside in the trouble areas of the city. And we're trying to make things comfortable for people and concentrating on quality of life. I want to say amenities in the city. Like you, I live here and I take pride in this city. I have been doing 3 jobs for over a year now, and it looks like it's going to continue maybe for another year. And the knowledge and the experience I have right now, especially with what has transpired over the last year, no city manager in the city's history has this type of experience. And the department heads answer to me. I think I'm worth $1.
John, excuse me.
Ms. Pies has had her hand up.
Okay, Councilwoman Sawicki.
I just wanted to follow up by saying I totally get that. I have no doubt that Mr. Szymanski has more than earned this increase. I just wanted to make certain that it's in our budget because it's going to be going forward, and that was my only concern, just to put on that treasurer's cap and give us the down low about, you know, the money that's available in our budget to do this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Pies.
Thank you. I'm confused as to what's going on here. I never heard a call for discussion. I'm not sure if we're going to do this according to one person or one group at a time. I want some clarification on that. And I appreciate what Mr. Acting CM Szymanski said about all the projects that are going on, but my understanding is that this isn't the place to talk about them because I'd have a lot of questions about them. So I don't know what we're doing. I understand the bits and pieces that I hear, and I don't disagree with any of them, but I don't understand the process here and what we're talking about when. If somebody could explain that, please.
Point
Yes.
of order. We're voting on the chief's salary, and our discussion should be around the public safety director right now. That's what our discussion should be on.
Right, but it
About
hasn't
that
been.
vote. We need to complete that vote. This discussion could go on forever if we talk about everything. So let's stay focused on the public safety director vote.
Okay. So at this point, we're only going to go with the resolution that you have put forth for the public safety director. Okay, so no further discussions regarding, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Williams, you have your hand up.
Yes, I've been pretty patient. Just like Councilman Paez, I was a little confused for a little bit there about what our discussion was supposed to specifically be on. Regarding Chief Smith, I did have a question or two, which is, how long have Chief Smith been our director? Because it's only been a short time, I do believe. And this raise is coming, it looks like to me, only a year after serving as the public director. So I did have a question about that.
Chief Smith, I believe, has been in since October, a little over a year. And I want to say it's, you know, when your deputies are making more money than you, and he's not eligible for overtime, and some of the employees are making tens of thousands over the chief. And Chief Smith is a top-notch director, and I have the utmost respect for him, and he's worth every single penny that we're asking for.
Okay, and my other question is, because you say other employees are making more money than Chief Smith, so that's with their overtime, but their base salary pay should be lower than Chief Smith's, am I correct?
It is, but it's getting, because of contract adjustments and differentials, and I want to say some of the mechanics of the labor contracts, that elevation still has to be put forth. It's very customary to have a chief making between 8 and 10% more. We're asking that the chief makes 8% more than the deputy chief. That's realistic. That is something we can well afford, as a matter of fact. The chief has done some very, very good cost containment efforts in his department. And, you know, quite frankly, you should be rewarded for that. He's been saving the city money and at the same time getting the service out. And what is forgotten at this point is that we have 7 people, because of the a tragedy with the Priscilla Slater matter, that we have 7 employees that are not here, that are on administrative leave, and the chief has continued to make things run both operationally for the residents and within his department budget. He's done an exceptional job, and you know, everybody should be rewarded for the job that they do. I mean, all the contracts are ratified. We have labor peace, and you know, again, the chief has done an outstanding job. I work very close with the chief. I work very close with the department heads, and they've all done an excellent job. We have an excellent team here.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion?
Ms. Constantino has her hand raised.
Councilwoman Constantino?
Yes, to me, this feels more like a wage correction than a raise. When Director Smith applied for this job or accepted this position, it was still back when we thought we were having financial difficulty, and he accepted a lower wage because we were, you know, not in the good financial situation that we're in now. And so it was kind of known at that time, and I know that some of you were not on the council at that time, but it was kind of like, you know, he was, as kind of a favor to us, he was accepting a lower salary when he took the position, because that's all we could afford at the time. And so this, to me, the wage correction, you know, a $7,000 wage correction is not a lot.
Is there any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes, I just wanted to also mention that we want to keep good talent with our city. And if a raise in, their base salary will allow us to be more competitive, especially if cities of our size are offering these salaries, then I think it would be in our best interest, because we know we have excellent employees here, and I definitely don't want to lose them.
Thank you. All right, then, so we have a roll call vote. Ms. Frank?
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes. Sorry.
Councilman Toussaint,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
No.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino. Yes. And Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
Hello.
Resolution passes.
Okay, so now we have to have a resolution to for the acting city manager, so you can ask.
Okay, the resolution for the acting city manager, finance director, treasurer, and further that performance bonuses be approved for the DPW superintendent, recreation director, and economic and community development director. And further to authorize the acting city manager and mayor to sign the agreements.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki.
in line with what had been said previously, will take up the acting city manager, finance director, treasurer's employment agreement modification. So I'll offer the resolution to approve the employment agreement modification with the recommended wage adjustment for the acting city manager, finance director, and treasurer, and authorize the acting city manager and mayor to sign the agreement.
Support.
Support by
Councilwoman Lyons.
Councilwoman Lyons. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Just a moment, Mr. Toussaint. Councilwoman Pies had her hand up before you.
Ms. Constantino also.
Okay, shall I go?
Councilwoman Pies.
Go ahead, Ms. Pies.
Okay. Thank you. Forgetting what I was going to say. I know several of our council persons are newer since Mr. Szymanski first contracted with the city in his position as finance director. So I was wondering, just for educational purposes, if he could give a brief overview of his first contract as well as the one for the acting city manager position, just so that there's an understanding between everybody about what's being asked for and why it's being asked. And also, I'm concerned about Mr. Szymanski's statement that he may be doing this, that there's no end in sight for at least a year. So I'd like some clarification on that. Thanks.
Okay, when I first, again, most of you know that I have been on the city council for about 18 years, was very involved in city activities the whole time. I want to say that when I was contacted by the prior city manager, Randy Skatarchik, he gave me a call and he told me that the city is in bad shape financially. And he said, we can't pay a lot of money. He said, would you consider coming and working for us? And I told him, I said, certainly. I said, I wouldn't have any problem with that. I live in a community and I would take a very special special look and interest. Well, when I got here, I found out that things were worse off than I imagined. We had a finance director that was finding another job because the opportunity was there. But what I didn't know is that we had two funds that were in deficit. We had a equipment fund that was in the neighborhood of about $300,000 in deficit. And we had a refuse fund that is used to pay money or to, I want to say, collect the funds to pick up for the pickup of garbage and refuse. That was almost $500,000 in deficit. I also found out that we were not collecting our full share of state shared revenues for several years. And we were owed to the tune of about $100,000 there. And lots of things like that. Well, fast forward was we came out of deficit in both of those funds a year earlier than expected. Talk on the council table was that we were going to get rid of our LEAF service that we provide to the residents every single fall. And I found a way of financing that to keep that operation going. Today, our refuse fund has a good fund balance. Our equipment fund has a good fund balance. Our general fund, a few years back, we had $293,000 as a fund balance. Today, it's about $1.2 million, and we'll be adding to that in 2020. And again, it's identifying realistic ways of saving money, and we have done that. We have done that, and like I said, this team, these directors, they've been fantastic with their ideas, and we made things work, and we're improving. We're improving our situation, and as we have more money to improve our situation, we can pour it into services for the residents, and we're in the position to do that. And even with COVID, we're doing better than what we thought we would be doing at this point, and it's surprising everybody. It's surprising our auditors, who they told me 4 years back that we would be filing for bankruptcy in the state. That's not even on the radar right now. It's not even on the radar. And this kind of stuff doesn't happen all by itself. It comes from working hard and working with people that you trust, that you know their capabilities, and at the same time are as dedicated as you. And you can ask any one of these directors if I am not dedicated to this city. They already know the answer to that.
I mean, absolutely no disrespect, but honestly, sincerely, I don't
Yes.
doubt the job. You've done it all. My genuine concern was only that we've got 3 new council persons, and I thought maybe they should come up to speed on where you started from contractually, so that they understand what's being asked of them now. That's
Yeah,
it.
and
Or questioning your performance at all.
I appreciate that comment. And again, I took this job and I took it. It was a lower pay than what was being
I
paid
recall.
on the market. And I want to say that originally when I took this job, it was for a 45-day, a 45-day temporary assignment, which is going into a year now. And again, you know, I'm understanding that our city manager may be still on duty, okay, past the April date. Again, that's all I know. And, you know, with the way things are going, I mean, it could develop into another year because of what has happened last year. And we have all of these projects on the books right now, and we can't stall at this point, because this is real progress. People are going to see real brick and mortar. They're going to see real progress coming into the city like they have never seen in the last 10 or 15 years. And we want to keep that momentum going. I'm excited about it. All the directors are excited about it. They're doing an excellent job. So, you know, and again, they report to me, and, you know, $1 over the police chief because, you know, I'm the guy that's ultimately responsible. It'll be my head on the chopping block if something doesn't work. So you have to have that just to maintain respect.
Councilwoman Sawicki?
Thank you. Mr. Szymanski, I've been very impressed at the job that you've been doing. You came in, like you said, expecting to be here for a very short time. And instead, I truly believe that of all the city managers I've worked with in the past, you have by far had the most on the plate, and you have handled it very well. You've got the most experience, certainly, going forward as a city manager. I'm going to ask a hard question. Are we still paying our current city manager who has not been here for nearly a year? Are we still giving him a full salary, or how is that working?
Okay, what has happened is we have budgeted that salary for 2021. We have not paid him for any time worked. The payments that he is receiving are for benefits that are due per his contract for things like holiday, the accrual of vacation time, sick time, personal business time, things like that. So every month, what will happen is we will be cutting him a check for his allotment of sick time, vacation time, military time, and any holidays that may fall in that month.
May I ask a follow-up question? I know that when, you know, it's been compared, military duty has been compared with having to sit in as a jury member. You know, you get paid for jury time, et cetera. And employers can withdraw the amount of money a person gets for jury time from their salary, or whatever they might have earned that day. I'm wondering, is the city permitted to just offset by whatever our city manager is receiving from the military? In other words, so there's not a situation where he's double dipping. He hasn't been here, you know, to actually be working as a city manager. Is our salary offset by his income from that position?
Okay, it's not written in his contract that way. So for all the time that he has worked, he has been paid for his bank time. He has been paid, but he is not drawing an active a salary, you know, from the city at this present time, simply because he hasn't worked it. We have budgeted that money in this 2021 budget, but it's not being used that way because he hasn't worked here, so it's sitting there.
Councilman Toussaint?
Excuse me, Ms. Constantino has been waiting a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Constantino?
You can take Mr. Toussaint
I
first.
can't hear you, please.
You could take Mr. Toussaint first if you like, and then I'll go.
Okay.
Before I can approve this, I need to have a better understanding of what this longevity money is and how do you get it? Because right now I'm seeing that even with the salaries we're approving here, that there's really additional $5,000 for this longevity. Or am I getting that wrong?
No, that's correct. We get that now.
Right.
And it's just not in the contract, but that's something that we receive at the present time. And this is just to make things more uniform, but it's presently being received by both the chief and myself.
So in other words, in addition to your 16,000, that'll be another 5,000 there, and a deputy director, in addition to his 7,000 for the 19 raise, so I need to add another $5,000 to that.
Well, yeah, but he's already getting that, and I'm already getting that. So
Now,
it's,
why does he get the longevity pay? He hasn't been here that long.
because of prior year's service that he had.
So we got to, he had prior year service with somebody else?
No, he had prior year's service with the city of Harper Woods.
Oh, okay,
Been
so,
with us
okay.
for 24 years.
Oh, okay, okay, I didn't, okay. Okay.
Councilwoman Constantino?
Yes, so I definitely think that acting city manager has been has done a lot helping us with our financial situation and infrastructure, and those are things he's been very excellent at. And I have absolutely no problem with giving him this raise as the acting city manager. However, according to this agreement, even if he goes back to being just the treasurer, he would keep this over $100,000 per year plus $5,000 a year longevity, even if he goes back to just being the treasurer. And while he's a very excellent treasurer, I did a little research to find out what treasurers make. And there are some treasurers for cities our size that are only making $56,000, $70,000. And I know our city has a lot going on, but to be making, $106,000 a year as the city treasurer, even after he's not the city manager anymore, I'm wondering that adding 5% every year on that for longevity, that might get to be quite expensive if we ever get in a difficult financial situation again, although he's good with the money. But I'm wondering if we should separate out this contract even, go ahead, give him this full amount for the acting city manager position. But I think we need to consider what the going rates are for a city treasurer or city, I'm sorry, not treasurer, I mean the city finance director / treasurer. Take that into consideration and maybe go a little bit above the average, which I perceive the average from what I've read to be somewhere about 88,000. So, jumping up to 105,000. He's right now he's going with like a $17,000 raise, which he definitely deserves as city manager, but as the acting or as a treasurer finance director, that would be a lot for a city this size. So that's something we need to consider before we make this vote.
I agree.
John, I accidentally muted you. John, you're muted.
Okay.
Okay. Councilwoman Pies had her hand up first, please.
I just wondered if we have any information from the Michigan Municipal League on salaries for different positions, and if either you or Mr. Szymanski knows what the amounts are, what the salaries would be.
I'd just like to add something too, that our community here is so unique and we are so understaffed.
Right.
We're as complex in every single detail as the city of Sterling Heights, and this can be validated by our auditors, Plant and Moran. They have said this repeatedly to me, that the accounting, the finance, the bookkeeping here is every bit as complex as the city of Sterling Heights, and Sterling Heights has 3 times the amount of staff. And at the same time, these 2 positions were combined.
Right.
We had 2, the people that worked here before me were in $90,000 positions, and that was 15 years ago. And when this position was put together, originally I came in at 75,000. It was a heck of a lot of work that we had to go through, but I'm much more valuable in this position, especially with the experience. I could teach a few city managers around the surrounding communities here on how to handle some things. So I'm very confident in my abilities, and I feel I'm worth every single penny of what I'm asking for, and the very fact that, the department heads are talking to me, and they still will be talking to me. Again, it all comes down to respect, too.
Okay, is there any, Councilwoman Williams?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I just had a few concerns. I'm going to say all of mine at one time, pretty much. One of my concerns was that I know when I got on the council last year, a little over a year, our finances or budget for the city was on the edge. We wasn't sure how things was going to go for the future. And I know, Mr. Samaski, that you say that we're okay now, but we've only been okay for a short time. I'm still thinking about, with the unpredictability of COVID-19, that we may be okay because we're in this COVID-19 time frame, that when we get out of COVID-19, I'm sure some things might change. So I was thinking about sustainability of our finances to support these raises, because raises are over a long period of time. It's not just you get a raise this year, you're wherever we say that's what you get for the next couple of years. So one of my concerns was that about sustainability of our finances. And the other point I had that I was concerned about is the raise that Mr. Samaski, that you're asking about, is for the acting city manager position, or because it's a temporary position, and that we do expect that one day Mr. Riker is going to return. So at that point, will we still be paying you the sum of money? Because your job would probably revert back to being a different position. So I did have some concern with that, because if this is temporary, and then you get this pay as a acting city manager temporarily, but then when your job reverts back to some other position, is this contract still valid for that position?
Okay, I can answer that. If we run into financial difficulties, I will be the first one to take a pay cut. I will be the first one to set the example. When the city manager returns, I will sit down and negotiate with him, because all the duties have changed. The direction has all changed. The attitude has changed. This city is in a very, very different position, both with its administration and with its residents and with its department heads, than it was last year. And there's a lot of important things going on now. We have a new elected judge. I'm working very close with the new judge to ensure that we have financial stability, and this transition works smooth and seamlessly. We're a city here where we respect our services. The guideline I always use is that if a resident needs service, and they pick up the phone and they need a policeman, a fireman, somebody from the DPW, somebody to pick up their garbage, whatever it is, that there's somebody there that can answer their question. There's somebody there that can help them. Again, I use the same services that everybody here uses. So it would be very hard for any department head to put something over me, so to speak. And again, the city is in a different position. I'm in a very much different elevated status than I was before because of what I'm involved in right now that can't be easily assumed by somebody just stepping in here and having a title. I know the nuts and bolts. I know what will work. I know what won't work. I know the litigation that's going through here better than somebody that hasn't been here, that has read about it in the paper. I've lived it. And so there's a lot of complex things going on right now. And I will not have a problem with that discussion with the city council at that time. And again, I'll be the first one to take a pay cut if there is a problem with city finances and lead the example.
Okay.
Councilwoman Sawicki, she had her hand up first.
I still think, part of the question was that when Mr. Riker do return, how does that affect your pay? Is it still going to be the same or does that change?
Mr. Riker will be relying on me much more than he has in the past. So I would expect to be getting something very close because I'm going to be working my tail off. I'm going to be the guy working my tail off.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes, I know that the city manager's contract comes up for renewal in March of this year. And although he's on active duty, and so we cannot take into consideration that factor. John, I'm just curious, is your employment agreement or your salary here, I mean, not salary, but is your employment agreement, does it have an end time? Are we renegotiating a contract in the future, or is it a continuing type of an agreement? I just don't recall.
Yeah, it's a continuing type of agreement, 30 days notice, you know, if I want to terminate, or the council would give me a 30-day notice if they want me terminated.
Okay, I just wasn't certain. I didn't recall. Thank you.
Councilwoman Pies.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I had some questions going into here that have been answered. And when Mr. Szymanski was first hired, he will tell you that I voted no because I had we had some differences in opinion and a few other things. However, I think he's done a really admirable job over the years. And I recall when he started, within the first few months, he found lots of money that the city no longer knew that it had because it had been squirreled away somewhere and wasn't documented by our former treasurer. So I recall that being well over $300,000, I think. And there have been other instances also. Since Mr. Szymanski has taken over the role as acting city manager, it's been great that he's been doing his job as a finance director. He has taken on more as a city manager than we've ever had a city manager take on. You know, with the protests that we've had, with surrounding issues about that, dealing with the press, dealing with the state police. So many things have happened that even our current city manager has never had experience with. I feel that this request, which I had doubts about going into the meeting, is very well deserved, even going into the future. I support this is what I'm saying. Also, when I was talking about the Michigan Municipal League pay scale, I don't know what that is, but it doesn't seem outlandish to me. Perhaps that, I don't know what other cities' finance directors make, but as Mr. Szymanski points out, he's doing both jobs and for the foreseeable future. And I would suspect that if we had a problem with that sometime in the future, he may be open to renegotiating a contract. That's all I have to say.
Okay, were you through, Councilwoman Pies? Councilman Tucson, and then we will take a vote.
Okay. In the past, I appreciate you telling us how wonderful you are, and I think you've done a great job. I've had many jobs in the past, but I've been wonderful too, and I thought I was wonderful in several too, but they still didn't give me a raise, maybe because I was Black at that time. I'm not sure, but I'm also in agreement here that I can agree on this salary here, but I'd also like to put in the contract, once our city manager has come back, that we need to renegotiate him to a more competitive salary. I don't want to, he's agreeing to do this, agreeing that I want to see it in writing. That's all.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, all right then. So can we take a roll call vote?
And what? I'm not sure we're voting on right now.
Well, I had my hand up. I've been waiting for a little while.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Cheryl has had her hand raised electronically, and I've been waiting to get in.
Okay,
She would like to speak.
Cheryl Constantino?
Okay, my battery's about to go dead, so I'm doing my best to plug in my battery or plug my computer in while I'm talking. But what I would like to do, okay, there we go. What I'd like to do is maybe offer a friendly amendment that we accept this agreement, and then 30 days after the return of the city manager, or the end of his time as the acting city manager, that we renegotiate the agreement. If we put that into the agreement, that gives us 30 days afterwards where he's still paid at the higher rate, and 30 days to kind of see what the what the city manager wants to do, and what see what's going on in the world at that time, and what we want, what we might want to do. We can, at that time, we can either vote to continue the salary or to make an adjustment to the salary.
So you're suggesting that we make a friendly amendment to this,
Yes,
the resolution?
right. My suggestion is to make a friendly amendment that we review the contract 30 days after the return of the city manager, or if the city manager doesn't return, if we get a new city manager 30 days after that person takes over. That gives 30 days for him to get whoever it is up to speed. And if they recommend, yes, he's indispensable, we better keep him at the higher rates. Or if we, or maybe something else comes up, or he has a health issue and he needs to cut his hours back or something like that, we can make that decision at that time.
Okay,
I believe that Councilwoman Sawicki, since she is the one that has made that amendment, she's the one that is supposed to offer the friendly amendment
okay.
for resolution.
I want to find out what Jen, whether he agrees to accept term, because normally if we're in a contract negotiation, it's going back and forth between the employee and the city. And so I'm curious if John is willing to accept that slight adjustment.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'm confident, and like I said, things have changed in the city, and I'm much more experienced, much more I want to say in the moment than I was a year ago. So I'm very confident of the direction of the city, and I won't have that. That sounds like a fair and reasonable accommodation.
So,
All right, then let's let that resolution stand, that it would be to approve the employment agreement modifications with the recommended wage adjustments for the acting city manager, finance director, treasurer, until at least 30 days following the return of the city manager. And I think that's probably valid. I think that would probably stand as a good resolution.
okay.
Now,
And
whoever supported it, I think Mrs. Lyons,
Support.
Ms. Lyons has to
Councilwoman Lyons, are you
support
still
that.
supporting the resolution?
Support.
Okay. All right. Can I have a roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
No.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Madam Mayor?
We need to discuss the performance bonus, I
Madam Mayor?
believe.
Right.
I thought they added that all in there.
Madam Mayor.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Councilwoman Sawicki.
I'd like to offer the resolution to approve the performance bonuses for the DPW superintendent, the recreation director, and the economic and community development director, and authorize the city manager, the acting city manager and mayor to sign the agreement.
Support.
Support by Constantino. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons.
So with regard to Mr. Boback, Hinton, and Mr. Snyder, what are the existing, numbers? We've been given the numbers and we discussed, at length, some of these other figures and increases. So we're giving a $5,000 increase to, in addition to the salary as it stands now, and then this will go forth for every director of public works, director of parks and recreation, and economic development director going forth, or is this just for the bonus?
This is just for the ones that we have in place today, specifically Bill Schneider, John Boback, and Ty Hinton. Am I muted?
No, you're fine.
I'm not sure if maybe the question wasn't understood. So this is, we're not looking at a salary increase, but just a bonus.
A bonus.
Correct, correct.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank Councilwoman Pies.
Hi, it's my understanding that both Mr. Boback and Mr. Snyder retired quite some time ago and have been working basically without any further benefits from the city, just using their retirement benefits, and that their pay or their salary has not been increased. Well, I've been here for 6 years now, so at least that long. So I would think a $5,000 one-time bonus is not out of line.
Thank you. Councilwoman Williams.
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions. If it was a one-time bonus of $5,000 for above and beyond services, well, it says service that went above and beyond the call of duty, but this says an annual merit bonus. So does that mean that after we approve this, that each year there would be a merit bonus? And what would that merit bonus be based on? What was the criteria?
Okay, and I can answer that. It would be, they're going to be given specific projects, And these specific projects are going to be held to very high standards and to the satisfaction of the community. And upon successful completion, they will have earned this bonus. If they do not do the work according to the higher standards, then they may not get that bonus. It's going to be, if the council is happy, if the residents are happy with the work, with the performance, with the service calls, then we'll pay them the bonus. If things don't work well on their watch, then they're not going to be eligible for the bonus.
Okay, Councilwoman Sawicki first, and Constantino and Toussaint.
Yes, I just want to mention that normally a performance bonus is something that is granted at the end of the year
Right.
at the discretion of the employer, or in this case, us as a council. And I would think that it could be something that is brought to our attention every year. I don't know that it has to be written into, some agreement to kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I am definitely in favor of it. I know these people have worked very hard, and I truly appreciate being able to call on, any one of these employees for questions and this sort of thing. And they know their business. They know what they're doing. They've done an excellent job for our community. I don't begrudge them this bonus. I'm just wondering why we have to have it written in as annual when it could be brought to our attention every year and be approved. That's my only question.
We'll bring it in every year
Okay.
to them.
Thank you. Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes, partially for the benefit of the public and in interest of this. I mean, I think all three of these men have been doing an excellent job. They've all had a full career and full, amount of experience, and yet they're working for us. Some of them they're getting paid for 28 hours, but they're actually, we know darn well they're working more. And so I don't have any problems with this at all, but I just think for the benefit of the public, I would like to know what their wages are at this time, and maybe one or two special projects that they've done an excellent job on this last year, just so people can see why they're worth so much to us.
Okay. Councilman Toussaint.
My question has pretty much been answered there. I just wanted to make sure with the bonus, this is what I totally agree with. I don't really have any issues with. I just want to make sure that they don't realize that, it's going to be expected every year. And I'm not sure if we word that so it's not to be expected every year, but, basically when it's affordable. And it may be different next year, it may be 6,000, it may be 3,000, depending upon our budget. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear, not understood that we're going to just do this every year automatically at $5,000.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Madam Mayor, my question still hasn't been answered. The city, I was directed through you to the city manager.
Okay, I will say that these directors, some of these directors took very significant pay cuts back in, I believe it was 2006. I want to say for some of the projects that they have been involved with here, we had a new roof put on. We have had a boiler put in, and some of the very simple directions that the DPW superintendent was given was to get the roof on before the snow fell, get the boiler out of the basement, a 1951 model boiler that had to be disassembled, parts of the wall had to be knocked down to take out things, and get it all together, get it operational before the cold weather started. Well, that has been done, and it has been done
At a savings.
yes, at a significant savings. And again, you know, we're appreciative of that. I want to say little things that are done around the city, everything from making sure that the contractors that were working on the roof, they broke a couple of sidewalks that were undetected, just loading cargo and supplies needed for the roof, and to have that follow-up being done, you know, by the DPW superintendent. You know, these are all things that, again, are above and beyond the little touches. And this year, you know, the focus is going to be on really cleaning up the city and attention to detail. So they know what is at stake here, and obtaining more quality of life type things in our parks. You will see a difference this year. You will see a big difference this year. And again, that's, you know, and the Eastland project. Again, you're going to see some real results here, and we have to keep that interest and enthusiasm engaged, and that's what we're trying to do.
Councilman Toussaint.
Now, from what I hear, and I was totally in support of it, and still probably is. But right now, you told me they're retired. So in fact, in a sense, aren't they already double dipping? They're getting their pension, and they're also getting the salary on top of it. I'm not sure if I understand that correctly.
It's actually saving the city money that way.
I'm sure you are saving money because they're using their own benefits, retirement benefits. But aren't they already double dipping, getting the pension plus the salary?
They work for it just the way anybody else would. A police officer could put a career in and work for another community. You know, that's something that they devoted their time and attention to. And, you know, hard work.
John, we always do hard work. I'm sorry. Yeah. You keep going on and on with that. But I'm just saying, I don't know what their salary structure is now. You know, I believe they should get the one-time bonus, but I don't know. Right now, they're saving the city money in a way, but they're still double dipping.
Well, they're collecting a pension from MERS, and they're working here, but it's, again, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they make now, so I can't really comment on how much raise they should get or anything.
Okay.
So I'll go along with this bonus for one time.
All right, then. So can we have a roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Madam Mayor, Mrs. Constantino electronically raised her hand. I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Constantino?
Yeah, my point was, because they didn't really answer the salary question, but for Mr. Ivory and the other new council members in the community, these gentlemen do not make very much money. And Mr. Hinton worked for Wayne County. He didn't work for our city in the past, so he's not really double dipping from us. He's basically double dipping from his former employer, but that's not the point. The point is they're working at a very low salary. They're considered part-time, even though they're really doing full-time work. And so I don't think that giving them an additional $5,000 is unreasonable for all the work they've been doing, because their salaries they're making are very low.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Madam Mayor, I'm trying to unmute myself. Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Right. As I understand it, as council has directed, what we'd like to see is that that this resolution be for $5,000 for these gentlemen for this year, and that this bonus be approved in the future, that it come to us for approval in the future, not just be something subject to the city manager. So we would like to be able to continue approving bonuses in the future. That's, I think, what hearing is the request from council. And if that's not a problem, then I'd like to offer that as the suggested resolution.
All right. Councilwoman Lyons?
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Councilwoman Lyons?
That's the name of it.
I just wanted to say that I do think that all of our directors of, and particularly with, public, with our superintendent of public works and, our Parks and Recreation director and, our economic development director, this should have been a separate amendment, which I'm glad we rectified, to approve these bonuses, because I do think after all these years of service and, knowing them for a very long time, each, I think that they've been doing an exemplary job. And I think to an extent, our acting city manager sounds a bit defensive, because I don't think anyone here is accusing any of our employees of not doing a good job. And I think we all know how hard they work. But I just think that there's a degree of due diligence that, on the part of, us being the elected body, we want to make sure that our city is staying solvent, and that we, in the case of salary increases for, the first two approvals we made, I think it's just doing due diligence, and it's important to ask these questions, and to have everything just lumped in together. It just didn't make sense, and it was a bit odd. So, I just want to say to, our directors of our different departments that I know I didn't mean any sort of ill will towards you, and I didn't mean for that defensiveness tone that kind of began to start to be taken on by our acting city manager. I don't really understand why that was necessary, because it's just really following up on just questions around our city finances and making sure that we remain solvent.
All right. No further discussion. Can we have a roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Councilman Toussaint,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
No.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, with no further business, I call the audience. Bob, you help me see if anyone has their hand up electronically?
Yes, I believe it's Mr. Turner.
Mr. Turner, identify yourself.
Good evening. My name is Nolan Turner. I'm a resident of Harper Woods. Madam Mayor, City Council, thank you for your time. I did have a few questions, a few concerns as well. I am also an employee of Harper Woods. I work for the court, and I've heard every department mentioned, but I've heard nothing about the court. The court also has worked through the pandemic. No one in the court, via the court officers or staff, received any pandemic pay. We also have a court administrator. She wasn't mentioned in the $5,000 performance duty that was just passed for the other departments. And again, I know all of these gentlemen, they do a well job. Congratulations on your bonuses and your raises. But again, nothing was mentioned about the court. We just lost a co-worker in the court because there wasn't money in the budget to pay him. But I'm hearing this extra money has arisen that has extended other people's livelihood. These are some concerns of mine. I don't have a problem with anybody else. Everybody else has a livelihood. Chief Smith does a wonderful job. This was a stressful year this past year. So I understand why the acting city manager is requesting and has requested his raise. I understand Chief Smith raise. I understand the bonuses, but no one has mentioned anything about the court. And the court worked through the pandemic. Our court administrator, she does several jobs downstairs because we're understaffed. And again, we lost an employee because there wasn't money in the budget.
Okay.
So now everybody is working even harder than they were before.
Okay.
Good question. Absolutely.
I would like to answer that. The court is a separate employer. We cannot make any kind of recommendations. I would be more than happy to work with the judge on the budget, but I cannot make any changes to the judge's budget. And that budget was set a year ago by the city council. So I will be more than happy to work with the new judge. But again, it's her budget. It's not the city of Harper Woods budget.
Yes, Mr. Turner. You're muted.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, thank you for your time. And that is wonderful, Mr. Szymanski. I hope you and the judge can come to a budget, because that was a budget a year ago before the pandemic. So I hope something can, solution could arise from that. But again, with the consideration and the fact that the federal government was offering, if extended, if put out there, things like COVID pay and so forth and so on, that has nothing to do with the actual court budget. Was there no consideration given to the people in the basement?
Again, we don't have any sort of, we have no jurisdiction over the court. The court is a state employer. That is through the state of Michigan. We are the funding agent. That's how it's set up. And again, I cannot make any kind of changes or recommendations without the judge, doing so first. And again, I'd be more than happy to sit down with the new judge, but we don't have any powers over her budget. The only power that exists is that the council passes the budget for the court once a year. And as these items come up, we certainly can sit down and figure out ways to make accommodations, but nobody on the city administration side can just make a proposal or a resolution that affects the courts. That's all run by the state of Michigan.
Is there anyone else?
We have residents that don't have cameras. If you wish to speak, if you could electronically raise your hand so I can acknowledge you. We'll give you a moment.
If not, we'll call the council.
Madam Mayor, nobody, I'm sorry,
Williams?
Madam Mayor, nobody's raising their hand.
Yeah, Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just had a few things to say that one, my vote previously on what we just voted for, my no vote had nothing to do with the dedication or the hard work that our director or or Mr. Szymanski or any of the other directors. I believe they are doing a phenomenal job. That's my concern really was about the wording and the intent of the contracts, and also some of the future implications, along with future sustainability, because we've gone from being on the edge last year or a couple of years to suddenly this year we're sustainable. And some of my concerns are for the future, not necessarily for right now. And again, some of it was the wording and the intent of the contracts and its future implications. So I didn't want any of our directors to think that I thought their jobs that they wasn't doing a good job. I think they're doing a great job. So that wasn't my concern. And
Okay.
the second point, one more thing, is I got the opportunity on Martin Luther King Jr. Day to attend a Zoom meeting about discussion on community dreams hosted by Councilwoman Lyons. It was a very good discussion. We talked about several different things. We talked about the community, and I do want to thank her for hosting that discussion. I learned a lot from it. some of the information that she imparted at that meeting, I would be able to bring to my students and share that also with my students and, you know, help them think about their future. Thank you.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Thank you. First, I want to start off by congratulating our new president and vice president. Very excited. And I think many of us were quite thrilled to watch the proceedings this morning. And so, you know, just to kind of put that out there, even though we're a little city, we look forward to perhaps getting some federal money. They're talking about allowing communities to get more COVID money and this sort of thing. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. So I did want to just put that out there and mention my excitement with that. And there was something else that I wanted to say and I didn't write it down, and so so I've forgotten. And if I remember before the end, I'll mention it, but that's it.
Councilman Tucson.
Never mind. I can't remember what I want to say now.
Okay, Councilwoman Pies.
Thanks. I also wanted to congratulate our new president, Joe Biden, our new vice president, Kamala Harris, being the first woman in major office and being a woman of color as well. I'd also really like to congratulate her husband being the second gentleman, or first gentleman, or I don't know how you say that. Oh, okay. So I'd like to congratulations to him too, and I really hope for some healing in the next 4 years and some positive things to come out of our new election. Also, regarding Mr. Turner's concern about the court and our budget, I see the budget come before council every year when we do our budgeting in October, I think it usually is. Is our approval of the budget then just a formality? I'm not clear on that then, because I thought we said it in some way. And so I was wondering about that. And I was also wondering about a couple of things that Mr. Szymanski said, again, about when our city manager may or may not be returning. I thought right now it was for April, so I'm wondering like why the doubt about that. So if I could get answers to both of those, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, what happens with the courts is during budget time, we will get information from either the judge or the court administrator or both as to any new things that are requested. It could be equipment, it could be personnel, it could be a combination of those things. And we will sit down and work out a budget. And again, that budget will be presented to the council because the city is the funding unit for the court, although the court is a separate employer from the state of Michigan. And as those items are put into the budget, again, you know, with a full explanation to the city council will then approve that budget along with all of the other funds on behalf of the city. That's the normal process, and that's the way it works. And again, there was, you know, I had mentioned that we will sit down and work, you know, with the new judge on behalf of her staff to whatever, you know, her wishes are for her department. And present that to the council, and the council can debate that. We can talk about it. We could look at the cost of that in comparison to the overall court budget. And then you would either approve it or disapprove it, and that would become their funding. Now, in regards to the city manager, there may be some sort of delay in the city manager returning in April. There may be an indication that that period may be longer. Again, I don't know how long it would be, but there's a chance that he may not be here in April. And that's as much as I know. Now, how far that extends out, I can't tell you. That would be something that the United States military would know. But, you know, again, you know, it started out at 45 days and it wound up to this point in time. So, you know, COVID isn't going away. And, you know, there's a very good chance that he may be deployed longer than April. That's as much as I know right now.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes, Mrs. Mayor, I remembered what I was going to say. That is that a number of times allusions have been made to Eastland Mall and the things that are going to be taking place there. And we've kind of little hints about things. And I know that the city manager does not want to mention anything, you know, until it's probably a done deal. I don't know. But I am hoping that at some time in the not too distant future, council can be brought up to speed with everything that's going on. And that's, I don't need a comment. I just wanted to mention that because I've been kind of frustrated at not hearing anything, even though I know things are in the works. And so I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Councilman Tucson.
Since we're on that topic here, I was wondering if there, well, with the city manager we have now, and he's on the military, I was a little confused. I thought he had to get his same salary that he was getting while he was here, but you're saying no, Szymanski?
That's correct.
Okay. My second question is on that same thing. Are there any other employees that we have suspended or administrative leave that we're still paying?
Yes, there are. We have 3 police officers right now that are on administrative leave in relation to the estate of Priscilla Slater. And there were 4 civilian aides part-time that we carried them all through the year 2020 in the expectation that something might have been concluded at this point in time. That has not happened. We have not received any of the reports from the state police. So for those civilian aides, we have put them on unpaid administrative leave. They're all working for other communities right now, by the way.
Okay, so because they're working for another community, we can kind of go ahead and not have to pay them. With these policemen here, we're gonna have to pay them, I guess, the way it looks like forever.
Well, until this case, you know, winds down, and until you know, there is some more details emerge. We can't bring them back because there's an ongoing investigation, and at the same time, police officers they operate by different sets of rules.
Right.
And they have binding arbitration. They have very, very detailed and technical union contracts that afford all different levels of protection simply because this is in the line of their work.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Sorry to interrupt there, Madam Mayor. Mrs. Constantino has had her hand electronically raised for a while now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Councilwoman Constantino.
She's on mute. On mute.
You muted.
Sorry. All right. Years ago, we used to have a goal setting session at the beginning of every year, and we haven't had one in a while. And I feel like now that we have, we have some new members, and as COVID's winding down, that maybe in a couple of months we should return to having our goal setting sessions again, and make sure that we're all on the same page and set the direction of the city for these new times. And so that was one. There's something else I'm going to bring up just because normally I wouldn't have brought it up, but because Ms. Sawicki had brought it up last month's notice or last month's meeting. There was the lawsuit that I had filed for in regards to election fraud. Judge Tim Kennedy has taken the case back up again. At the request of the state of Michigan, they found that there was justification for an audit. And so Judge Kennedy advised us that we should have an audit, but not just locally, we should have an audit for the whole state. So that went to the Michigan legislature. I'm not sure of who did what, when, where, but there is supposed to be an audit, election audit for the entire state of Michigan. And it's supposed to be done by the Secretary of State. So I just wanted to mention that to you, that kind of went in a different direction, but I think it's the best of all worlds for everybody. There will be more transparency in elections. We have audits for finances, but something as important as the vote, we need to audit that as well. And no voters were disenfranchised. As you can see, we got our new president and everything. Nobody was disenfranchised. That was just something, people got upset about. Nothing is what I felt. But I wanted to show you that I got my 2021 NAACP card in the mail with a very, very nice letter from Leon Russell, the chairman of the National NAACP, and they will be retaining me as a member. And they said that exercising my constitutional rights, that's not a reason to be removed from membership, and he encouraged me to remain involved and said some very nice things, and I really appreciated that, and I appreciated receiving my 2021 membership card. I was very excited.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a few things here. So with regard to, I know that Councilwoman Constantino mentioned, sort of goal setting and having more of a strategic plan being something that was done in the past. And I think that's something that would be, of value for all of our members of council to participate in, especially given that, we all want the best for the city. And that's something similar to, I hosted a Martin Luther King Day Envisioning Community Dreams workshop this past Martin Luther King Day. And we explored how to set community goals and to talk about Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Work Week, combining his concepts with Martin Luther King's dreams and, continuing that legacy of, hoping that the community stays united and that we continue to work towards, progress and making perfection even better. So the concepts of dreamlining were some of the ideas that we explored. What does our community want to be, do, or have? And I was very excited to have Councilwoman Williams and Councilwoman Pies participate as well. But along the lines of, goal settings and resolutions, I think that we should all remember to be mindful of our health and to practice healthy eating, to be active when we can. And, we should really utilize Healthy Grosse Pointe in Harper Woods. They have a myriad of programs that are happening there regularly, and Care of Southeast Michigan is also joining forces with them to offer programming. And I think that the community would benefit from, utilizing programs and making sure that we stay on top of our 2021 health goals, and then set community goals and visions for what we really want Harper Woods to continue to be and to evolve into. I also wanted to mention that, and along the lines of those health and goals, Senate District 2, our state senator, Adam Ollier, he hosts a podcast every week or so. And this month, Cynthia Douglas from the NAACP, Harper Woods Grosse Pointe NAACP, will be joining to discuss health and fitness goals. And our senator is actually very much a health nut into working out. And we also had Councilman Irie Toussaint got to be a guest on the Senator's podcast today. So I think if you want to learn a little bit more about Councilman Toussaint, tune into that. One last thing, and by last, I mean second to last. Tomorrow, the Neighborhood Economic Development Coalition is hosting a virtual Protecting Your Credit workshop. So if you want to explore concepts in protecting your credit and building your finances, that's going to be via Zoom at 6:30 tomorrow. That's Thursday, January 21st at 6:30 p.m. And
yes, go ahead.
And the last thing is, I know that we were all fond of Judge Palmer, and I consider him a friend and a mentor, but I think it's a little pejorative to keep calling Judge Coleman the new judge. She has a name, and we should welcome her now that she's here. And that's all I have to say.
Councilwoman Pies, please.
I did not have my hand raised.
You have a hand, you did not? Okay, I'm sorry. Then there's no other hands raised. Okay, we can call for adjournment.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
I'll offer the resolution to adjourn our city council meeting of January 20th at 7:02 p.m.
I second.
Support.
A motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everybody.
Good night.